Hello everybody and welcome to Trombone First Aid. Today I'm talking about exercise number 3 from Kopprasch method. In this specific exercise there are some aspects that we can practice, like dynamics, articulation and range. About dynamic, Kopprasch noted specific indication under the score. To my understanding, these indications are mostly meant to let the player follow the line of the melody. As we can see, whenever the melody goes higher, we have crescendo, and when it goes lower, we have diminuendo. Sometimes nothing is written, and so it's meant to keep this level of loudness, even if the line is going down or up. So in this case, the player's attitude should be careful to keep this same loudness, also when the range is changing. We know that trombone is playing louder when we go higher and playing softer when we go lower. This is the natural attitude of the instrument, so we should be able to control this. That's why in this specific exercise, for me, the most difficult parts are when nothing is written and then we have to keep the same volume, even if the range is changing. So when we have this crescendi, we should not really push the dynamic out, but rather let our trombone sound in this higher melody direction. And then when we go lower, we should just release and then let the instrument just play with a natural soft sound. Speaking about articulation, this is also related to range. In this exercise, we start from a mid-low register, then we go to a higher part, then we go back to the low register, and then overall we touch more or less all the medium-low range. In this case, we have to keep the same articulation for every note, and this will change depending on the range we are in. So also in other videos I posted last year, I was explaining how it changes for us and how we can obtain the same articulation through different registers, changing the way we use tongue and airspeed. The same, it's meant to be here. So whenever we go higher, we should be careful to have a very soft tongue and not push this articulation. Wherever we go lower, we have to be careful not to splat the notes and be always round and rich in our sound. About range and also about sound, the tendency is when we go higher, the sound tends to shrink down. And then when we go lower, the sound kind of start to lose the shape and it's becoming not really controlled. This exercise puts you in this condition where you have to change from a middle low register to higher to very low register without changing the quality of your sound. That's where you have to really record yourself and practice hard, just listening afterwards and comparing to what you had in your mind. In order to keep the same sound quality, you have to mostly deal with airflow. So whenever we go higher, the tendency is to push, to have more force in the sound. And then whenever we go down, we have the tendency to relax too much and then there is no shape anymore. So we have to fight this natural behavior and be aware of those problems, so we can really solve them. As you can notice, I always said in other videos that it's very important to read the score before playing, because all those aspects can jump to your eyes when you read the first time. If you have no idea of what is going to happen next, while playing, there is no time to react, or it's not as good as you can foresee before starting your practice. So whatever I said in my previous videos is always valid. Already at the beginning of this exercise, we can find this melodic crescendo I was mentioning before. So as you can see, just playing in a very natural way, the crescendo and the crescendo will come. If we exaggerate, probably we will exceed this mezzo forte. It is still okay, but we don't need to do that. And in a more musical way, we could just let the melody breathe. So this kind of natural way of expanding the dynamic range, it's probably to be preferred. Speaking about articulation, in the second part of the exercise, we can notice a long line descending down 2 octaves. In order to obtain the articulation the same and even, we have to do something, we have to act. It's difficult to explain exactly what we have to do and how. The thing is that going down, we have to give the air more energy in order not to lose control, and in the higher register, we have to be careful not to give too much hit to the notes, otherwise the sound will be shrinked down. Practicing with a recording device, it's the best way to compare after when you listen if what you obtain is exactly what you imagine. Talking about sound quality through different registers, the end of the exercise gives a good spot. So, also for this, there is no real secret recipe to obtain the same sound quality. But the general rule I said before can apply to everyone. You just have to find your right balance, your good combination of airflow and articulation to try to get always the same articulation and the same sound quality. Now I will play through the exercise without repetitions and following my understanding for it.